This is the hallway bathroom, and it's time to start tiling. But I need to figure out what my pattern is going to be. So I've already prepped the tub, so I won't get it too messy with the mortar and whatever that backing stuff is called. I need to see, that's unfortunate, I need to see how many tiles around the edge, and if I'm going to be having to cut in corners, or if I'm going to, like, you know, just need to kind of see how it lays out here. I'm going to see if I can go from corner to corner. That is a big fat no. I'm going to have to cut the corners. That's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that I could just do just a string or row without having to cut any. So let's see about edge to edge here. It looks like I'm going to have to do some mathing to get the layout correct. So I'm going to do a little mathing and get back to you and explain what my mathing is. You guys know that we've been on this property for just over 3 years now, and the majority of the time we've been living in the RV, and I really never had a very comfortable place to relax after my long days of work. What we didn't tell you is that we've pretty much moved into the house. This weekend we put in our furniture that we brought from Portland. So this is our leather couch. We brought 2 chairs from Portland, and this is the one that I call my Woomy chair. That was my favorite chair to sit in while we were in Portland. The other chair we brought from Portland we don't have in the living room right now, but we do have a recliner, and that is new, and I want to show it to you because that's my favorite place to sit. So this is the XL6 Powerlift Recliner by FlexiSpot, and I absolutely love it. It is my preferred place to sit, and I want to show you why. Hi Kinsley, hi go girl. First thing is it reclines, and it has 2 independent motors, one for the backrest here and one for the feet. It comes with a pillow if you want to elevate your knees a little bit more. It has massage features. It also has a heat function. I use these every single night. It's amazing. It can lay down 180 degrees. So if you want to take a nap, this is the perfect chair. Especially we got that massage going and that heat going. Oh man. Being a power lift recliner, if you have an elderly person or somebody with low mobility, or you're just absolutely exhausted at the end of the night like I am, it'll lift you to a nearly standing position, making it easy to get out of the chair and then back into the chair to sit down again. And it does it in a nice, slow, controlled movement, so you're not going to fall out, it's not going to eject you out. There we are. And just like that, easy to get in, easy to get out. This chair comes in 4 different sizes. This is the largest size that they have. Perfect for me, 6 foot 3 inches. It can lift up to 440 pounds. The smallest size that they offer can lift up to 400 pounds. If you are looking for a power lift recliner, or you've been searching, you know that these things can get pretty costly, especially when it comes with massage and heat and dual motors. This FlexiSpot XL6 is about $500, and you can save an additional $50 if you use my link below and the code that's in the description of this video. I absolutely love this thing. It's comfortable, it's practical, it's a perfect fit for me, and after a hard day's work, I come in here, I sit down, I use the massage features, the heat features, and I just relax. So check out FlexiSpot using the link below and use the code in the description to get an additional $50 off. Wow, this took me a very long time to establish the layout that I want and to figure out what my cut pieces are going to be, both on the bottom row and the top row and in the corners to make it all mesh well. But I finally figured it out. This is the next morning. I've been working on this for hours. So this is the layout of how it's going to be. This is the center line, and I wanted that pattern to be centered up. And then I needed to make sure I ended the end here in a good space. And I think I have it both the end going correctly, and then in the corners it's going to wrap like that. I think that looks really good with a bead of caulk to water seal it, or to keep it water sealed. So this pattern, I have it laid out in the living room because I like to visualize things and make sure it's going to work out before I lay it down. And given that I actually have patterns on the tile, it makes it a lot harder than what I was doing with the bathroom in the bedroom, because that's just blue tile. Like, that was easy, an easy pattern. This was a lot harder. So here's the pattern. This white bar represents the tub. I'm gonna have a 5.5 inch piece at the bottom row, and then it's gonna be a 5.5 inch piece up to the ceiling. Blue line here represents the center, and so this pattern right there will go up the center of the back wall, and then this is where it will cut, and this will be the sidewall going up, and over here that'll be the sidewall going up. All right, I have established the laser line for where the top of my first row is going to go. You can see it around, and I'm going to I measured 5.5 inches from the top of a 1/16 inch shim here. Put that there, and I measured 5.5 inches off of that, and I made this mark, and I put my laser to that. So the tile will actually be off of the base of the tub by 1/16 of an inch, and then I'll put the caulking in there to seal it. And this, the tub is flat except for that back corner. It's lower by 1/4 of an inch, and so I'm going to have to just, before I cut each of these pieces of tile that's going to go along the bottom row here, I'm just going to have to measure to that line and see how much to cut for that one tile as I lay it across. So the first row is going to take a little bit more time, plus I need to account for drilling the hole for the spout. There's another thing I need to do to get prepared for this, and I should have done this a long time ago. These screws that are holding the tub into place, they should have been had caulk put around it. So I'm going to do that now. They're going to be covered by the tile, but it's not going to hurt to do this. And now is the only time I have remaining to be able to. All right, 5 3/8, and then 5 3/8. So here's my system that I'm using. I'm taking tile from a box, so I know that these are clean and defect free, but I do visually inspect them, and then I lay them out based on the pattern that I've already established. And so this is the center line right here, so 5 3/8 to both of them. So I should probably mark what I'm going to be cutting out. 5 3/8 inch. Do I have my pencil? So I'm going to be cutting the bottom off of these. So I'm going to mark basically 5 3/8 inch, 5 1 2 3/8 inch. That's a little bit high. 5 3/8 inch, and then I'm cutting off down there. So bring this in here and set measurement. I need to take that off. It's so strong in there, so tight. And make this 5 3/8. That should be right there. And then there we go. Okay. And it didn't cut perfectly right there. I may have to grind that down, but I should be at 5 3/8. I am. That's the first one. And now take the second one, and I want to cut this off, so that means that this goes over there. Okay, 5 3/8. Okay, so I should be able to put in a shim and a shim. And this one's off just slightly. So I'm going to, this one's more than a 1/16. I'll do something like that, but I think that'll be okay. I hope that'll be okay. It's more like 1/8 of an inch off. It might be because the rise yeah, there's a rise. The back of this has a rise. So, do I cut that again and take it's a pretty big gap. I think I'm going to cut it again and give it another 1/16 of an inch. Alright, let's try this one out. I think that's a better gap. Yep, that is a better gap. Okay. Alright, I'm good with that. 5 3/16. 5 3/8. Five 3/8. Now before I cut the bottom off of this one also needs to be a little shorter, and I actually have a template for that. That is this piece right here. Since I already laid this all out with the correct spacers and everything, I'm just going to mark how wide this needs to be before I cut the bottom off. Okay. Okay, so this should wrap around the corner. So this should go, that should go there. This will go there. Alright, so I got the tiles cut for the first row. So now I just need to actually put them up. There are 3 tiles that are going to need some special treatment. The two at the end here, I'm gonna have to do a little circular notch to go over the edge of the tub, and then the one where the spout is, which is right here, I'm gonna have to drill a hole in that. But otherwise, I should be able to just concentrate on getting this first row in, getting it perfectly level, and then that will establish the pattern or the base for the rest of the wall. So here we go. First row is in place, except for these last end pieces here, which I'm going to do tomorrow because I am absolutely exhausted. That was 5 hours worth of work. Wow. So my back, my knees, they're done for. They need a rest tonight, so I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, do some cooking, make some dinner, and then go rest on my favorite chair and call it a night. I'll get back at this tomorrow, but it's looking really good right now. It's all nice and level. I've checked it with the long level, been checking it with the short level, of course the laser level's in place. And I also got the hole drilled for the tub spout. But that's going to give me a nice, strong base. And now it's just putting the rest of the tile up with a couple additional cuts around these fixtures here. But for the most part, it's just put them on the wall, make sure they're straight, level, in line with each other. So, all right, I'm going to go cook and go lay down. Well, I have 2 rows in, churning out that it's taken me quite some time per row. The second row that I have in here, 3 hours. I'm hoping to get better at these and faster. And you might have seen in the time lapse, I put up a 3rd row and then I took the 3rd row down. And that's because I found out that not all of these tiles are the same size. So there is the first 2 rows that I put up. Here, just let me show you. All right, let's go grab a box of tiles that are too big. So these are from batch number W3. That's very important to know because apparently they make these tiles in batches, and every batch is not the same exact color, not the same exact size. I didn't know that, and so I bought, I don't know, 12 or so of these boxes or whatever it's been, and they don't all match. So let's take a look here. So this tile here is from batch W2. The 2 rows that I have installed are from batch W2. So this is the reference size. And when I take this tile from batch W3 and I line it up, it is right down here on the bottom. Actually, I'll put it at the top for you guys to see. It is 1/16 of an inch too big. And that makes a huge difference because that is the gap. See that right there? That is the gap that I have for the spacing of my tile. So that's not going to work at all. So it turns out that I need to go back to the store and get the bunch of boxes from batch W2 so that way they match, because this is just not going to work. So I guess that's where we end it. You guys kind of get the idea of where I'm at with doing the tile. So that means that next video, hopefully we can finish the tile work, finish the bathroom, and be done with 3 rooms and only have 2 rooms left. Remember the story, the movie, The Never-Ending Story? It's exactly how this project feels. The never-ending project. All right, I will see you guys on the next one, hopefully with some better progress. Until then, take care. We'll see you later.